For centuries, deep in this rainforest, an entire civilization disappeared, leaving behind questions no one has fully answered. Archaeologists still don't know how millions of Maya vanished without war, famine, or a trace of mass death. And yet, buried beneath the jungle floor, clues suggest their disappearance was no accident. To understand what really happened to the Maya, stay with me. Their story is far more complex and far more human than legend suggests. The Maya built cities larger than ancient Rome, right here in the heart of the rainforest. They mastered astronomy, writing, and mathematics long before most civilizations even imagined them. But their world depended entirely on a fragile balance with the land around them. Water shaped everything. Cities rose only where precious reservoirs could be built. Their knowledge of the stars guided harvests, ceremonies, and even political decisions. But the jungle, endlessly growing, never stopped trying to reclaim what humans built. Over generations, the Maya fought not enemies, but nature itself. Still, their skill in building stone temples is unmatched, even today. Each structure aligned precisely with the sun, the moon, or Venus. These alignments weren't decorative. They were messages carved into time. Messages that warned them the balance of their world was shifting. Across the region, reservoirs dried. Crops failed. The climate changed faster than they could adapt. But this wasn't just drought. It was a collapse triggered by years of environmental strain. Cities once filled with thousands slowly emptied, one family at a time. Temples fell silent. Markets closed. Rituals faded into memory. And then, almost everywhere at once, entire cities were abandoned. No signs of battle. No mass graves. No invading enemy. Just a quiet, heartbreaking retreat from a land they once ruled. Some communities survived, but their great cities never recovered. As centuries passed, the jungle erased almost every trace of their world, until modern archaeology began uncovering what truly happened. LiDAR revealed over 60,000 hidden structures, more than anyone imagined. It proved the Maya weren't a small kingdom. They were an empire of remarkable scale. An empire that thrived and fell because of the land it depended on. But the collapse of their cities is only half the mystery. Because inside these temples, carved into stone, the Maya left warnings about something far greater than drought. We'll uncover that next. Long before telescopes existed, the Maya built temples aligned with the movements of planets and stars. These structures weren't random. They were engineered with mathematical precision. Each temple served as a calendar, a map, and a gateway to their spiritual world. The most famous of these is El Castillo, Chichen Itza's pyramid of light and shadow. Twice a year, sunlight forms the shape of a serpent sliding down its staircase. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a masterful blend of architecture and astronomy. Across the Maya world, temples pointed directly at solstices, equinoxes, and Venus. For the Maya, Venus was more than a planet. It was a celestial clock. Its rising and setting predicted seasons, wars, and even ceremonies. But the brilliance of their temples wasn't only scientific, it was deeply human. Temples were places of learning, worship, and storytelling. Their cities functioned like giant observatories hidden in the rainforest. Every angle, every stairway, had a purpose. Even sound, yes, sound, played a role. A single clap could produce the call of a sacred Petzl bird. This acoustic design still puzzles modern engineers. But among all these marvels, one temple stands apart: the Observatory of Uxmal. Built in a perfect circle, it tracked celestial movements with astonishing accuracy. Through its windows, Venus appeared right on schedule every time. Such precision required generations of observation and dedication. Temples were laboratories. Monuments were science and belief intertwined. And at their center stood rulers who claimed to speak with the heavens. Their power came from the stars and from the people who believed in them. Yet even these magnificent structures couldn't stop the changes coming to their world. Climate shifted. Wars grew. Trade rights faltered. And slowly, the lights inside the temples began to fade. But one question remains: why did the Maya pour so much effort into watching the skies? What did they see up there that we still don't fully understand? Their oldest inscriptions hint at something extraordinary: a warning, carved into stone. And in the next part, we uncover what the Maya believed was coming. The Maya didn't just observe the skies. They recorded everything they saw. Their writing system was one of the most advanced in the ancient world. These inscriptions told stories, warned of disasters, and preserved their understanding of time. Central to it all was their calendar, far more complex than our own. It didn't predict the end of the world. It measured cycles the Maya believed shaped human history. One of these cycles, the long count, marked major turning points. To the Maya, time wasn't a straight line. It repeated again and again. They believed each cycle brought opportunity and danger. Not all of their warnings were catastrophic. Many were agricultural or ceremonial. But some inscriptions spoke of imbalance, of a world falling out of harmony. These warnings were often linked to extreme droughts and celestial misalignments. When drought struck, they saw it as a sign the cycle was changing. Many researchers now believe their so-called prophecies were scientific observations recorded poetically, because their understanding of the sky was extraordinary. They tracked solar eclipses with a level of accuracy that shocks modern scholars. But one cycle mattered more than any other: the 5,125-year cycle that ended in 2012. Contrary to popular belief, the Maya never wrote that the world would end. 2012 was simply the end of one era and the beginning of another. Yet some ancient inscriptions hint at fears of cosmic imbalance. They believed the heavens reflected the state of the world below. When rulers failed, when crops died, when wars rose, these were signs of a cycle collapsing. Some texts describe a great turning, a moment when everything resets. Not destruction, but transformation. Still, a few inscriptions remain troubling. They mention sky serpents, falling fire, and days of great darkness. Scholars debate whether these were metaphors or real celestial events. What we do know is this: the Maya believed the universe sent warnings long before disaster struck, and some of their predictions came true. Climate shifts, famine, social collapse. But one final prophecy remains unsolved. A prophecy carved for a future generation, one they believed would face the same cycle they did. And in the next part, we uncover the truth behind their disappearance. The great Maya cities did not fall overnight. Their decline unfolded slowly and painfully. For generations, signs of trouble appeared, subtle at first, then impossible to ignore. Rainfall patterns shifted dramatically across the region. Years without consistent water devastated their crops. Food shortages created tension between once united city-states. Trade routes collapsed, and with them, alliances that had lasted centuries. Some cities adapted, others turned to conflict. Internal struggles weakened even the most powerful kingdoms. But the environment remained their greatest enemy. Centuries of farming and population growth pushed the land to its limits. By the time rulers realized the danger, it was too late. The cities began to empty, not through war, but through quiet migration. People left in search of water, stability, and hope. Temples that once echoed with ceremonies grew silent. Inscriptions abruptly stop in many cities. Written history simply ends. One by one, major centers like Tikal, Copan, and Palenque were abandoned. Not destroyed, not burned, just left behind. This disappearance confused archaeologists for decades. Modern research now reveals a pattern, a slow collapse driven by many forces at once. Climate change triggered food shortages. Overpopulation strained resources beyond recovery. Political rivalries fractured unity when it was needed most. Nothing alone destroyed the Maya, but together, these pressures became unstoppable. The collapse was a human story. Families forced to leave everything behind. Some communities survived and still exist today. But the great cities never rose again. The jungle consumed them faster than anyone imagined. Yet something remains here, something untouched. Inside the last untouched temples lies the final clue to their fate. A clue that changes everything we thought we knew. And in the final part, we uncover the last secrets of the Maya. The Maya never vanished. Their cities fell silent, but their people, knowledge, and traditions lived on. Across Central America, millions of Maya descendants still speak their ancient languages. Their stories, art, and beliefs remain powerful connections to a world that once shaped this land. For them, the past isn't something distant, it is something alive. And archaeologists are only beginning to understand the scale of what their ancestors built. New discoveries show the Maya created one of the largest civilizations in the ancient world. Hundreds of interconnected cities, each one linked through roads and waterways. Their engineering rivaled Rome, built entirely without metal tools or wheels. Their astronomy surpassed many of their contemporaries, and their mathematics included the concept of zero, centuries before much of the world. Even their agriculture was revolutionary, sustaining millions through ingenuity. This was not a lost civilization, this was a brilliant one. Yet much of their story remains buried beneath centuries of jungle and time. Every discovery raises new questions and deepens the mystery. Why did the cycles matter so much to them? What did they truly believe the stars were telling humanity? And how much of their knowledge has yet to be uncovered? Each year, new temples, roads, and writings emerge from beneath the rainforest. The Maya story is returning to the light, but the greatest part of their legacy lives not in stone, but in people. Their language, their art, their worldview they endured. Through them, the Maya story continues, stronger than ever. And perhaps their greatest teaching is this: civilizations rise and fall, but knowledge survives. The Maya endured collapse, but not extinction. And today, their story belongs to all of us, a reminder of what humanity can build and what it must protect. Because the Maya left us more than ruins, they left a message. Everything is connected: land, sky, time, and us. And as we uncover more of their world, one thing becomes clear: their story is still unfolding. If you want to continue exploring the mysteries of our past, AIVista History is here, uncovering it one ancient world at a time.